Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. Today's Doctor Who review is none other than the Macra Terror. So, what is the Macra Terror about? Well, essentially, the Doctor and his friends, Jamie, Polly, and Ben, all land on this planet where they're pretty much a colony. And when he begins to ask why some of the colonists are a bit jumpy, they find out it's because they believe in the Macra. Now, what are the Macra, you may be asking? Well, the Macra is something that has been shown in the modern series with David Tennant. They are giant crab-like creatures that pretty much feed on gas. And in this story, it turns out that the Macra have manipulated a whole colony of people into believing they don't exist. The reason they have done this is to essentially grind the human race down into the ground and use them as pretty much cannon fodder. Humans keep pumping gas into the works and they get stuff out of it, but they don't ask questions as to where or who the gas is going to. When the Doctor and his friends begin to get too close to the truth, the Macra begin to retreat and start to get the guards to turn on the Doctor. However, when the Macra secret is revealed because of the giant crab claw, they have no choice but to pretty much concede and hope that they can destroy the Doctor before he destroys them. Through the course of this story, we have some really great cliffhangers, from Jamie pretty much running down a hallway where there's like 4 or 5 Macra coming after him, to Polly and Ben getting cornered in a courtyard. Ben pretty much becomes susceptible to the control of what's going on and begins to argue with the Doctor and his friends about disagreeing with the colony. After this happens, the Doctor has to try and find some way around it, and luckily eventually he manages to destroy the Macra with their own gas. So what did I think of the Macra Terror? It's a very, very base under siege story. It's a great, terrifying story because in the beginning of most of the story, if the Macra weren't on the posters or anything, let's be honest, you wouldn't know who the Macra are. There's such this illusion throughout the whole story that until you see the giant crabs themselves, you kind of keep asking yourself, who's in charge? Where is this going? And how have they got the colony under their thumb? It's also so scary to think that you have these creatures who you wouldn't necessarily believe could talk, and then they do, and it just shows their kind of control. Can't lie, I would so love to see expansive media pick back up on the concept of the Macra. I just feel like they're so strong and so powerful, the fact that they've managed to use gas and everything else, and the control of the systems and the control of the colony itself against the people, it's just so beautiful. And for that reason, I give the Macra Terror a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next Doctor Who review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible day.